What's up? Welcome back to another YouTube video. Today this one is gonna be a type of range breakout strategy that I made probably about 6 months ago that I actually was trading live on MetaTrader on a prop firm account. But then once MetaTrader all got shut down in the US, that's when I stopped using MetaTrader and went to Ninjatrader. And then I basically just left this strategy and haven't used it since because it does not close at the end of the day, which futures prop firms, you have to close all positions at the end of the day. But I am pretty soon getting ready to run a live account with live funds. And so those don't have to close at the end of the day. So I maybe use this strategy that we create today in that portfolio. So here's MetaTrader, and basically here's how it works. Let me pull up. These are the settings. So the way it works is we set a candles for the range. So in this case it's 24. So 24 candles long. And then X points for range is going to be how tall it is from the low to the high. So this then peak strength is going to make sure that the high and low of the range are a peak, because if not, sometimes it'll create a range, even though, I mean, this one actually isn't correct, right? Because this is not a peak. This one is saying that this wick, I'm guessing, came down to here. It would need to be, this is the low of this one, of these two, and these two, for it to be a peak, so that it would create the range. So basically, it's gonna, whenever we have a range shorter 24 candles, and the high to the low of that last 24 candles is less than the X points for range, then, and the peak strength is met, then we create a range, this box range, and then we trade the breakout of it. So then these settings are just, that is nothing, that's just to trade it or not. Then TP, we can set it by points. So it'll set an order at the top of this line and the bottom of this line. And then we just set stop loss or TP. Or we can set it by percentage of range. So if you do it by false, then 1% of range, TP will be take this distance, this line, and add it to the top if we break out to the top. And then stop loss will just be here. But then we could do, 0.5, and then the stop loss will be halfway of the range. Then modify is just when we are this many points in profit, we will move the stop loss to there. Yeah, so pretty simple strategy, but it definitely works. So yeah, let's get to it. First thing we want to do, new strategy. YouTube, on my MetaTrader account it was called NAS Consolidation. So for here we'll call it Consolidation Breakout. Next. We're gonna check on order update and on position update. We might need those later. For when we want to modify stop loss or cancel some orders. So inputs, We're just going to take the exact same give it a second to load up, but we'll do yeah, we'll just open it up. So we're gonna have X candles for range, X points for range, and then high-low strength. So X candles for range, X candles for range. We'll edit this in a bit to make it cleaner. Or we can just do X points in the description, X points for range. Let's edit this one. X candles, X candles for range. Then high, low, we'll name it peak strength. And then high/low strength. We'll do default 2. Then we need TP by points or TP by we'll just do calc targets is gonna be a bool. Calculate TP by points. Target points. Now, if that's true, then we want to do TP in points. TP in points. Let's shorten this. TP points. Then SL points. SL in points. Then, now if this is false and we do not calculate in points, then TP percent. TP in percent. TP percentage of range. SL percent. SL percentage of range. Then just the break-even settings. So go break even. Go break even. So we'll do BE level. In points. Break even level in points. Then break even level, then we'll do break even trigger points. So when this is hit, that's when we will move the break even. So move. So do break even trigger. Move stop loss when this is hit in points. All right. So now we have our strategy. Let's compile it. And now open it in Ninjascript. Alright, so first thing we need to do is create the range. So, or the box, I should say. So to do that, I'm actually just going to pull up the code from MetaTrader and just have that pulled up to the side and just kind of more or less copy it, kind of. They're both in C# based, so alright. So actually I haven't used this in forever, so hopefully I can remember how it works. Okay, so here we start calculating the range. So first it checks if there's a new bar. So first let's do if current bar is less than X candles plus peak strength, then return. This is just to make sure we have enough candles. Next, so if candles since T, not sure what. Okay, I forget what those do. Let's. Okay, so now let's find the high and the low of the range. So to do this, we'll do this all in a method. So calc range. Now we can show potential fixes, generate method. Now this, everything in here will be called everything this runs. So first thing we'll do is int high index equals I. Is it just highest? Yeah. So we want series is high period X candles. So this will get us the index of the highest candle of the last whatever our range length is going to be. So then we do double high price to get the high. We just do high of high index. Next, same thing for the lows. Yep, double low price. There we go. Now we are gonna create a variable called, here it's called spread. We can just call it height. Only R for range, height. It's gonna be high price minus low price. Range.pivot peak. Don't remember what that does. I think that's to check that the high and the low, that one of them is a peak, but we'll come back to that. So if high index is greater than low index, so if the high of range happened before low of range, because if high index is 10 and low index is 5, low index is 10 bars ago, so it happened first. Then we check if the high index is equal to the highest bar for highs for for R X, no, for peak strength times 2 minus 1. Okay, so in MetaTrader, this highest function, which gets the index of the highest bar, you can do the highest of the last 10 candles through the last 5 candles. So you can set a range. In Ninjascript, if you put it the last 10 candles, then it's just from the last 10 candles to the current candle. So let's see. So if range peak candles, say it's 2, we're going to check 2 times 2, 3 through where is number of elements and start. So let's see, how could we... Okay, so we'll just do if high index is the highest in there, and so now we want to exclude the high index minus peak candles. So we would do, and this does not equal the highest from high to high index minus peak strength. Getting an error. Open, close. Okay, so what this is doing, it's basically just copying this code, this line. So first we make sure it's the high index equals the high, but also that the high is not before Okay, so basically what this line of code is doing is it's really just making sure that the high and the low is an actual peak. So to do that, all we need to do is just make sure the high index is still the highest of the high index. So this will be up until what it actually is, plus the peak strength. So the peak strength is 2. It'll be high index of 2, so that means our high index is still the highest of is still the highest. It'll be easier to draw it. So say these are all candles, right? So if our peak is say we're checking the last 5 candles. So from here, right now our okay, wait, no. How do I delete this? Okay, so no, say our candles are like this, right? No, that's wrong again. How do I make this? Bruh. So say it's like this. And if we're checking the last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 candles, right? Then we're going to be checking in here. But we don't want this because this candle is just, I mean, it's not even a peak. It's just trending. So now what we're going to do is for this line, what we're doing is basically we're checking these 5 plus peak strength. So in this case 2. So we're also going to take these. And since no, it's not, we won't get past this because this is not a peak. Now, if it was like this, if these 2 candles came down and we didn't have these, and then this, then it would check to here, and these are obviously not as low, so that makes this a peak, and then we have our range. So, hopefully that made sense, but this should work. So, once we have that, then we have a peak, and then it looks like we're saving a time variable. So up here, let's create a variables for the peak. Looks like just a bool for pivot peak, and then private date time pivot peak time. Then where was that first part where we set? Okay, so beginning of on every new bar, we're going to set it to false. But then if it is a peak, then we set it to true. And pivot peak time equals time of the current bar. Yes, that should be correct. Now, we need to do the opposite for cells. So if high index is less than low index, then if low index is equal to lowest bar Low, yep. Then pivot peak equals true, and pivot peak time equals time current bar. So let's compile that. All right, so next thing we're going to do is creating our range. So when we have our range created, basically setting that. So we're here now. So first thing we're going to do is make sure that the range is less than, less than the height that we want. So we're going to do range heights. If range height is less than x, no. What do we call it? X something height. X points. So if our height of the range is within what we want, and pivot peak equals true, so that means on this exact candle, certain candles back, our beginning candle was a peak, and active range equals false. So active range is if we already have a range created with pending orders waiting. So this is basically so that if we already have a pending orders waiting, we don't want to create a new range and set new orders. So then, if high index plus 1 is equal to okay, so this is saying, so say we set the length, so X candles to be 40. We want the high index to be the 41st candle. Not completely sure why we need this. Okay, we'll come back to this after. Oh. Okay, this video is already getting pretty long. So okay, yeah, let's just get it so that it prints a box on the screen, and then we'll can finish it in the next video. So, I mean, yeah, pretty much we're gonna do draw rectangle. Let's see. This is the owner. We'll just do range. The start time is going to be pivot peak time. Double start Y is gonna be, what did we call it? High price. End time is gonna be time of the current bar. Okay, found an error. But then low price, and then brushes dot deep sky blue. We have an error. Do that. Our peak times is actually going to be the time of the low index and the time of the high
Order submitted.
index. Okay, so let's compile that and see what we get. Let's go. All right. Okay, so one thing I already know that's going to happen is once we create the range, we don't have a way to cancel that range. So it should only create one range right the first time it finds it. Should create it and then save it. So next candles, let's do 20 points. Let's do 50. Peak strength 2. And then right now, nothing else will do anything. Should do anything. Okay. So let's go back to where this starts. So at least we're getting something. Okay. Let's see. We aren't getting any errors on it. But this, so
Target filled.
definitely some things are off.
Target filled.
So if the range height is less than X points, pivot peak equals true, and active range equals false. Then we're create this. Hmm. High index. Alright, so I'm gonna stop the video here and come back to it. Well, we'll finish it in a different video, but this one's already getting pretty long. So something in here is getting messed up. So we'll start printing stuff and then seeing what's going on. But yeah, make sure you compile. Thanks for watching, and I'll get this video out as soon as I can, and I'll get the next one out also as soon as I can. Like, subscribe, and yep, thanks for watching.